need to understand. And the propaganda has its own power. So it is in your own advantage to stay away from that propaganda, because propaganda has power. And you cannot make sure that every member of your family or every member of your community can be at that level where no propaganda can affect him or can affect her. So this ayat number 68 of Surah Al-An'am says, وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَ الَّذِينَ يَخُوضُونَ فِي آيَاتِنَا فَأَعْرِضْ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ. And when you see those who enter into false discourses about our communications, withdraw from them until they enter into some other discourse. While they are talking, making fun of Quran, finding faults with Quran, criticizing Islam, criticizing Allah, criticizing Prophet, criticizing everything. So one way to stop is to just stand up and leave the discussion. So when you will do that, at least it is one way of resistance, and they may now change the discourse, change the topic. Learn that if they want you to sit with them, then they don't have to talk about this issue. They don't have to talk about this. So that is the least amount of your response as an average individual. You cannot debate, you don't have enough knowledge. So when you don't have enough knowledge and you cannot debate with them, then either you just keep sitting there and listening and getting more and more and more affected and confused by that propaganda, or simply just stand up and leave the discussion and say, sir, I don't listen to this talk. I don't want to get into this kind of discussion. So that was what believers were being taught. And this remained always. If you look into the books of Fuqaha and Maraji Taqleed, this was an issue that can average people who don't have enough knowledge of their deen, their madhab, they are not well trained, are they allowed to go and read the books written against Islam, against their madhab, and then read those books? Are they allowed to go and sit in those kind of sessions and classes of those people that who attack Islam and who question Islam and criticize Islam? So an average layman who doesn't know Islam, who doesn't have enough knowledge, is halal for him and jaiz for him or allowed for him to go in those kind of classes? Every time, every muftis of Sunni and Marja Taqleed of Shia, they say it is haram. First they need to understand, learn their deen properly, know their aqaid, know their beliefs, know their practices, know their own deen and madhab properly. When they have that strong foundation and they understand it well, now they can go and talk to anybody or listen to anybody. But when you don't have the background and you don't have the foundation and you don't have knowledge and you don't have understanding, then you say, no, just because I'm very intelligent, I can listen to anybody and I can talk to anybody and I can face any propaganda. That is not the case. You will get confused. You will get affected. Your confidence in your deen, your madhab, your aqaid will be shattered. And you will, if you will not get totally convinced by them, at least you will get some doubts. Some doubts about your belief system. And first, people get some doubts about some of their beliefs. Then this increases. And then it shows up in their practice. When they have some doubt in beliefs, now it shows in their practice. Then they will become weak in their practice, and then they will start questioning, and sometimes they will pray, and some they will say, who knows if there is any God or there is any day of judgment, or meaning I'm just doing it when I can do it, but if I don't do it, it's still okay. I don't know, there is 100%, there is day of judgment, and there is a God, and there is this and there is that. So immediately, just a little doubt about that It will show in the prayer. It will show in the fasting. It will show in the Hajj. It will show in the Zakat. It will show in homes. It will show in other things. So it starts from first your little doubt in your belief system. Then it comes to the other things. So this comes to our children, our youth, our what you call. The question was asked from Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu was-salam. At one time, there were some groups within the Muslim society, and they were just like today's this Jehovah Witness or Tablighi Jamaat. They would just go and knock at the doors or go and sit down and engage people and talk about their beliefs. Their beliefs were against the beliefs of the majority of Muslims, but these people were very active and very vocal, like these what you call these evangelists. So people that were very powerful, very vocal, very persistent, going after everyone. The question was asked, what should we do about our children, about our youth? That we allow them to talk to them, listen to them, have discussion with them, or we should stop them. And Imam alayhi salatu wasalam says that you must educate and train your children and your youth so much so that no later, if this group or any group reaches to them, nobody can shake them up. Nobody can shake their faith. Nobody can shatter their confidence in their deen or in their mazhab or in the truth what they believe in. But first you need to train and educate your children about their deen, about Quran, about hadith, about beliefs, about their practices. So the problem which we as a Muslim ummah we are facing today, and that's why very much many times this debate comes, that why mullahs and maulanas and these people they make boundaries and they tell that, oh, you don't listen to him, you don't listen to him, you don't read this book, you don't read this book, you don't hang around with these people, you don't hang around with that people. Why don't they? We are human beings, we are intelligent, we are sharp, we are educated, and people are very smart. Why don't they let people just go and talk to anybody, listen anybody, read anything what they want, and then after all people will make their own mind. Sometimes there are people who come up with this question. Answer to that is, if you are raising your children and they are very young, as a father, as a mother, do you do that? You have only 2 kids, and you don't afford to just leave them and go and hang around with anyone. Talk to anyone and do whatever you want and learn through your own experience. That time comes when you allow them to do their own experience, but that comes at a certain level. While they are little, then you protect them. You keep them in a safe kind of environment. You don't expose them to the negative kind of people, negative ideas, negative influences, and bad environment, or with the bad ideas, or with the bad ideologies, or with the bad people. You cannot protect your son or daughter forever in their life, because they will become adult and then they will be at their own. But while they are young, that is the time when we need to do that. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking here, because Muslims at that time in Makkah were just like that. They were new, they were converts. They have just entered in Islam. They cannot go and have a debate with Abu Lahab or Abu Jahl or with those kind of people, because those were tribal chiefs. These were slaves and servants and people who were weak, and the people who were poor, and people who were not free people, or they didn't have that much knowledge of Islam. And same situation happens today in communities also and in Ummah. that there are people, they don't know anything about Islam other than, even many of them, they don't count the Usul-e-Din and Furu-e-Din. They don't know even the names of Ma'asumin. They don't know even the basics of their faith. And then we put them in English medium schools, missionary schools, for example, back home. In those, they name Cambridge School, Oxford School, I don't know, this school, that school, 5-star schools. And these are all British, American, European chains. And they are teaching them, and they are putting all the foundation, and they are giving them everything, the understanding. And then the children, when these children will grow up, yes, they will have master and PhD, and they will be MBAs, and they will be highly qualified and educated, but totally brainwashed, and to them now understanding properly Islam is almost impossible. They are programmed. So if they were taught their Islamic beliefs, Islamic practices, Islamic philosophy, Islamic teachings, when they were young, in proper Muslim institutions, and then if they were allowed to go to anywhere, now they can go to Cambridge, now they can go to Allama Iqbal, for example. Dr. Iqbal, he went to these institutions in Germany and in America, but he was trained first by very able teachers in Pakistan. It was not Pakistan yet, it was India, at Sialkot and at Lahore. And then, so he goes and he comes back and he is a great critic of actually this Western tradition. He criticizes the Western philosophy while he studied Western philosophy in Western institutions. Why? Because Iqbal was trained, Iqbal was educated properly in a proper environment. The other example I give you of your own Maulana Sulaiman Abidi. Now, after studying at Hausa and after spending 10 years at Qom, now he comes back and he goes to the University of Chicago for his PhD. Now, this whole University of Chicago and even 10 other universities, they get together, and if they want to shatter his confidence, want to influence him about his understanding of Tashayyu, can you think that it is possible? So, Dr. Sulaiman Abidi, and then compare him with those other PhDs that who studied there basically first with the others, and then for PhD for Islam they go to Qom or Najaf. Well, they have their foundation is set before. They studied at the Christian schools, they studied at Jewish schools, they studied with Christian and Jewish teachers, and they have now their own understanding, they have their own, already they have made their mind about Islam and Islamic teachings. And now what happens? For 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, they go to Mashhad or they go to Qom or they go to Najaf. Now they have PhDs on Islam, but their understanding of Islam and their work of Islam is not going to be the similar what Sayyid Sulaiman will have. So if you look at these two ayat, because many people have difficulty in understanding these ayat, ayat 68 and 69 of Surah Al-An'am. Apparently, Allah is talking with the Prophet. But if you read the books of Tafseer, Allah is not talking to Prophet, because Prophet was not the one that who was used to go and sit with them. Prophet was not the one that who was in danger. These were the followers, these converts, these were the new Muslims that who were weak and they were not able to resist and they were not strong enough. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when kuffar and mushrikeen, they get together, they have the classes or they have meetings or they have discussions, you don't go and sit with them. And when they talk about these issues, just stand up and leave. Or ask them to change the topic and change the discussion. And then some people would do it by mistake. By mistake, they will forget and they will go. وَإِمَّا يُنْسِيَنَّكَ الشَّيْطَانِ فَلَا تَقْعُدْ بَعْدَ الذِّكْرَى. But if forgetfully a Muslim or a believer, he goes there and he forgot that I was not supposed to sit with these people. But he goes and he sits with them. When he remembers, then he should just leave. He should leave the gathering when he remembers that I was not supposed to be here. I was not supposed to be with zalimeen, with these unjust people who are doing zulm against themselves by denying the truth. Recite a salawat. Now when this ayat was revealed, a new question came. People said, if that is the case, that we can't go and sit with them, and we are not supposed to listen their discussions, then it means we are not allowed to go even to Masjidul Haram for tawaf, for namaz, for salat, or for ibadat, because these people, they sit in Masjidul Haram and they sit there and they talk and they have these conversations. Then it means now we are forbidden even from going to Masjidul Haram, because these ayat were revealed in Makkah. So still Muslims are in Makkah, Prophet is in Makkah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is answering that concern. He says, no. وَمَا عَلَى الَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ مِنْ حِسَابِهِمْ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. Those people who have taqwa, those people who are muttaqi, and they have the background and they have the knowledge, and they are going to Masjidul Haram not to sit with them or listen their discussion. They are going there for ibadat, they are going there for tawaf. Then you are not responsible for their discussions or whatever they are doing. Let them do whatever they are doing. You go and do your namaz, you go and do your tawaf. You are going for your right reasons. You are not going to Masjidul Haram to associate with these people or sit with them or listen to their negative discussions. That is, so Muslims were told that you can still go to the masjid, but you just go for ibadat and you don't go to associate with these people. So this topic, I know, my brothers and sisters, it is sensitive. Some people don't like this, but it is important that when, first of all, we children or youth or average people are allowed, or when it is safe for them to engage with others. Maybe every child is not the same, every family is not same, every youth is not same, every average individual is not same. People are different. Some people may learn all these things at very young age and are smart enough, intelligent enough that they can go and talk to anybody. They have that level of confidence that they can listen, but then they won't get affected. We have a term in Farsi and in Arabic. One is mu'assir, the other is muta'assir. Mu'assir and muta'assir. Mu'assir is the one that who affects on others, who has impact on others, who affects. Muta'assir is the one who gets affected. This is called muta'assir. No. There are some people, they are very much, they are the kind of people that it is very likely that they will get affected by any new idea, by any new person, by any new thing. They are just very much vulnerable. Anybody can impress them, and anybody can attract them, and anybody can engage them. These are kind of very simple people and very meaning vulnerable. There are people that nobody can impress them. Nobody can really affect them. Nobody can change them. Nobody can attract them. They are so strong, so stubborn. So these are different personalities. We cannot draw a line for every individual, but the idea is that instead of, I personally, I'm not a person that who believes in building walls or building barriers or making boycotts or making these kind of things for people. I personally don't like that, and I'm not in favor of that. But on the other hand, we need to understand that back home we had, I think they have here also nurseries where they have those small plants. You know that when they are called still nurseries over here also. They have those small plants, and you know in the severe weather, they have special arrangements for those small plants. They save them, they protect them, they give them certain heat, they protect them from the cold, they protect them also from other things, and then they bring them in garden, and when they grow, then when they are trees, so they are trees. They are able to resist. Similarly, children are very vulnerable. And we are all going through it. And day after day, we are going more and more through it. There was a time when we had more influence on our children. There was time when we had more influence on our community. There was time when we had more influence on ourselves. But that influence is decreasing. That influence is decreasing because of the exposure to outside has become too much. Our children are exposed to smartphones when they are just infants. Even mothers cannot give them food without giving them the bribe of that something that it's a smartphone and it plays some movie, and child looks at that, and then child is ready to take the lunch or dinner or food or whatever. And then they are trained by those kind of devices and this all, meaning movies and social media. How many of us can say that our children are with us when we are at home, like sitting in living room or in our, we are always eating together at dining table? So every child is by themselves. They just come and go straight to their room and they are just with their own device. So the issue is, my brothers and sisters, that influence is a power. We cannot deny that exposure, company, and influence, these are serious things. Now, we cannot scare the community, we cannot scare the world. Allah talks about it, but we need to be careful about it. And these two ayat are about the exposure, and these two ayat are about influence. Recite a salawat.